Do you sometimes feel like technology is watching us? Maybe it is. We have assembled two instances where Sims have gotten a mind of their own. And maybe you will feel as well that there's something a little eerie about them.
It's the 20th of June 2020. It is the fourth round of the Porsche Tag Heuer Esports Super Cup, and there are three hot prospects aiming for the championship this year. Sebastian Job has won 2 out of the 3 featured races so far, and Max Benecke claimed victory in the third. But the driver leading the championship is the Australian pole hunter and last year's victor, Joshua K. Rogers.
The track is none other than Circuit de la Sarthe, or Le Mans as it is more commonly known. A historic and exciting venue, if you take all the slipstream into account, which helps the cars to get frisky on the straights and go as much as 3 wide. So the stage was more than set for what was to come.
If you enjoy this dive into esports history, leave a like, hit the bell, and let us know which moment you want revisited in the comments. Qualifying proved to be not much of a surprise, as Joshua K. Rogers put in the fastest time in qualifying for the 4th time in a row. Due to the format though, he has to start from 8th and make his way to the top. At around the 4-minute mark, Rogers had taken the fight to the top pack and claimed the lead. The slipstream allowed for the pack to stay together, and when the Aussie turned into Danage, there was a wild Kevin Ellis Jr. on his inside that shunted him off track.
He jumped Kevin Ellis. Oh my goodness, lunge for the lead from Kevin Ellis. Bumps Josh Rogers up in the air, around goes. That's Holtzman.
But if you think that stopped the fight, you are sorely mistaken. With the lightning-quick Sebastian Job in front of him now, it needed something special from Rogers, which spawned the last lap of dreams for racing fans.
Rogers made quick work of Job after getting back on track, and shortly before the clock struck 0, he set his sights on the sprint race win. To get this done, the Aussie had to get past the pair of Alejandro Sanchez and Kevin Ellis Jr. Rogers had an extraordinary idea on exactly how to deal with it.
There, side by side, Rogers trying to make it 3 wide down the middle. That doesn't work there, Josh, but he's making it work, that's for sure.
Well, he'll get a side toe off both cars. He will get hoovered up.
This surely had to mean the race win for Rogers, and an excellent position in the featured race as well, right? Wrong. Drama that nobody could have predicted unfolded.
The pack turns into the final corners. Lights flash and nothing happens. There is no race winner. The race goes on. Rogers dives into the pits as he runs low on fuel, but this doesn't make sense. The race should have been over.
That is huge because that is now the points lead ahead of Josh Rogers.
Did he run out of fuel?
I don't know, but Josh Rogers is dropping down the order and looks as though he will make it in the points.
As several drivers stay in the pits to refuel, the rest of the pack just continues, with other cars slowly running dry throughout this lap. All of a sudden, the championship is wide open again, as Job finds himself in second, just behind Kevin Ellis Jr.
This situation shook up everyone and caused additional drama. Because you see, the grid for the featured race, which boasts the most points, is decided by the finishing order of the sprint race. So naturally, there was a lot to talk about. This meant that Josh Rogers lined up 25th, and his fierce championship rival Sebastian Job was in prime position to take points off of him. A few days later, iRacing made an official statement, and it was clear that the race results would be erased. This was due to a bug that caused the sprint race to go longer than expected. This was of course a hit to the championship ambitions of Max Benecke and Sebastian Job, who had both scored valuable points at the nullified event. Sebastian Job even reclaimed the championship lead.
While one could argue that this race was pointless, the battle was still filled with entertainment and controversy. Never in the history of iRacing had a bug impacted the results of a race so heavily. This further fueled the championship fight, which only got more intense over the following races. Even though that was already crazy, there's one other instance that attracted our attention as well. Imagine a 200k tournament being decided by the fans. Check it. Now this is a story all about how an esports race turned upside down.
Jokes aside, but we have to look at an earlier representation of esports racing. In 2017, the Vegas E-Race final took place in, who would have thought, Las Vegas.
A fine assortment of real-life drivers and simracing royalty were able to qualify for this R-Factor 2 event, which sported a surprising amount of money for whoever claimed first place. A total of $200,000, was to be given to the winner. During the race, fans were able to vote on their favorite driver and give them what is called a fan boost. This feature is a short increase of battery that can be used by the racer at any point in the second half of the race to make up a little bit of time. This system was originally implemented in the real-life Formula E, which is the reason for its occurrence here.
Everything seemed quite straightforward up until there, but the race itself needed some major Sherlock abilities to figure it out.
For most of the time, it was a battle between Bono Huys and Felix Rosenqvist, leading the field by a substantial margin. Surely one of them would take the win at this rate, but when both went into the pits at the same time and came out again, they were overtaken.
After a good bit of dominant racing, it was the Finn Olli Pakala who took the lead just laps before the end, while the former leaders Huys and Rosenqvist were left scratching their heads.
Indeed, the game decided to slightly prolong the fan boost from 6 seconds to 6 laps. While good for Olli, it was obviously not intended. This allowed the Finn to power through the field with more energy than anyone else and take the victory. The drivers were visibly confused and people were searching left and right for explanations, as the participants were left in the dark about the outcome of the race. This bug caused turmoil that could have easily resulted in a completely different finishing order. Unfortunately for Olli, the results were overturned and he was relegated to third again.
No matter if you're the biggest sim racing game on the market or an event with a gigantic prize pool, sometimes technology just gets a mind of their own and decides to spice up the stage.
For more esports racing content in general, visit overtake.gg or our YouTube and other social channels. On the right, you can find videos hosted by the Porsche Esports Super Cup champion Josh Rogers. That's it from me, and until next time, cheerio.